You mentioned the Democratic. Did you say the Democratic Party or the American government, or whatever? But I'll just rephrase it. We had Jack Posobiec on the show, and he's mentioned this a couple times that we all believed that if we opened up to China and we went there and said, "Look at all of our amazing capitalism, look at our amazing constitution," that they would say, "This is brilliant, and we want to adopt it." Instead, what happened was that many politicians went over to China and said, "Wait a minute, you built this building. How fast was it done? You mean you just snapped your fingers and you just removed the residents and then got to build your building? You mean you built this road in how many days? Wow, in America, we have to deal with all this bureaucracy. How do we do it?" And so the idea, I suppose, is that what ended up happening was Americans realized that it's faster and easier if you just trample over people's rights, and the Chinese Communist Party certainly figured it out. Now they started importing that here. Why bother with going to a court because you've got to deal with one person's rights? It's like that movie Up. You ever see that movie Up, where the old man has the home and the city is built around it, but he won't sell it, and they want to take it from him, but he refuses. So what starts is this little house on a hill, and then after 30 years or so, there's skyscrapers everywhere. They want to build the building, but his house is still there, and they can't just take it from him. Well, that movie wouldn't happen in China.
It would be banned.
Well, probably.
Yeah, all, yeah.
But if you made the movie Up in China, it would be 3 minutes long, where the guy says, "You can't have my house," and they say, "You never owned the house in the first place," and then they just steamroll it and then build a building.
Well, during the urbanization process of China, so-called modernization building, skyscrapers, high-rise housing, they actually mislocated lots of people. And you talk about eminent domain is bad in America. Talk about China. I have a friend in New York City now. She's a political refugee. She had a 10 years, 15 years factory producing product services during the economic boom. And she got rich because of that. All of a sudden, the local government said, "We need your land to build high-rise housing because land belongs to the state." Remember? All the land, all the natural resources belong to the state in China. If you build something, it's only the structure on top of the land is yours. But even for that, they want to flat it. And she went to court, did not want them to abolish her factory. Then court even said, "It is her factory. You cannot do this." It doesn't matter. One party rule. They control courts. They control everything. So the local government, like mafia, they bulldozed her factory. And she had to flee to come to this country in order to try to get her story told. She even tried to handle her paper to when she was visiting here. So when people talk about, "Oh, it's so efficient for the Chinese government to build this, build that," they also are very efficient to put 1 million people in concentration camps in Xinjiang today, and harvesting people's organs, and arresting disappearing human rights lawyers, and citizen journalists who don't have a license to practice to report. So do we want to become like them? Democracy, constitutional republic, you have a process. Everybody is entitled to fair trial, fair process of voting to decide what to do. You cannot just wipe out like during last year. Your constitutional rights don't even matter because we have a pandemic. Maybe Chinese leaked pandemic virus with the purpose of wake our economy and cancel all Western countries' citizens' rights. So we'll be taken over by communists.
You know what I've been saying is, to the people who've read the books like 1984, did you think that the totalitarian regime wouldn't have an excuse? Did people believe when they read 1984 that the party that seized control one day just got up and said, "We are taking control," and everyone said, "Okay, I guess"? No, it's always an excuse. It's like V for Vendetta. Have you seen V for Vendetta? You should definitely see that movie.
It's great.
Movie? Okay.
Yeah, it's a great. It's a graphic novel series, but the movie is fantastic, and it's a story about a totalitarian regime. It's in the UK, and for them it was a virus. There was, I think it was called the St. Mary's virus in the film, that people got scared. A pharmaceutical company then started coming out with the cure that made tons of people rich. The party members all coincidentally got really wealthy. And it was their excuse for seizing control. People were scared, and so they gave up that control. But there's always some excuse.
I love
that
Animal.
is put in place.
Have you read Animal Farm?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Long
also
time
George
ago.
Orwell, and it's basically, I read it after I read 1984, but it's like a version of what could lead up to 1984.
Yeah.
You see the farm and the workers take over because the farmer's not doing a good enough job. They throw him out. Then the smartest of the workers seem to take control of the party, and the pigs.
It's a short book.
And
Yeah,
the
it's
famous saying that there are some animals always more equal than others, right? I know that. Like today, our tyrants, governors, mayors, and all of the public health bureaucrats, politicians, we get told, stay home, no travel, don't say goodbye to your loved ones, and shut your business for public good. That's what they told us in China. It's always excuse to take away your rights and liberty. It's for public good. It's for public health. It's for society's stability. And you're not a human being. You stay home. You must do this. You must do that. Do they have this authority to tell another human being? Those people are not gods. They're not angels. They're not even actually decent politicians. They're corrupted tyrants. And they tell me how to live my life here. That's like a hell no. Hell no. We need to march like European people did last weekend, like the Greek people did last weekend. We, people who love freedom, who have human dignity, need to unite in the world. There are so many tyrants, all want to become the rulers, the masters, to control us, to have so much power. Isn't that nice? Like a Lord of Ring, I'm going to wear this one ring. I have unlimited power. I watch those movies, it's like, wow. Absolutely, power corrupts. Absolutely. And what is wrong with Americans today who believe authority? If it sells you fair, you're gonna just lie down, live on your knees, and stay home, and shut your business. Government, give me some unemployment checks. Give me some stimulus. And now inflation is coming. It's like the largest increase on your taxes when inflation is so big. It hurts the working class. It hurts the poor. But they don't understand economics. How come our kids don't even study a book called Economics 101 that tells you they don't want you to become smart. You want to dumb down you. That's easy to sell you fair because you are afraid. If you're afraid, you stay home. Don't go out.
You're familiar with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez?
Of course, I challenged her, debated her, but she totally ignored me because I'm nobody.
She has an economics degree and recently on Twitter failed to define capitalism. She had started a business. She was selling merchandise. She was criticized for engaging in capitalism and being a socialist. And then she said that's not capitalism. Capitalism is when wealthy people exploit the working class, and just some very ideological and biased view of what capitalism actually means. Capitalism actually is a really simple definition. The private markets, private enterprise, the private exchange of goods and the private trade. And socialism is the public control of the means of production. So a capitalist system, there's in-betweens. You can have a mixed economy. We have a bit of a mixed economy.
Yes, we don't have a total, actually, pure capitalism at all. That's why people cannot understand when they support Bernie Sanders and demonize capitalism. They think what we have is corporatism, is capitalism. So they feel like injustice. Of course, there's lots of income gaps, and there's a super rich and super poor. You have that in all this society. But what is our alternative? You want 100 million people die, and you want 1% of ruling class over you? So what is alternative? That's why we need to have a conversations. How we are going to improve our lives through more like a fair competition. That means that we actually free market, real free market capitalism. Everybody's equal. Instead of we're talking about, only the billionaires, they can shut you down, they can lock you up, and they can sell you the things you must buy because no more competition left because they want to make more money. That's not real capitalism. It's in bed with government to have a monopoly. That's totally wrong. That's not fair to regular common man.
There's never going to be the equality in terms of class, the way these class theorists believe that you could implement communism and then all of a sudden people are on even footing, because some people are still going to be taller, some people are still going to be shorter, some people are still going to be faster or stronger or weaker. or slower. And some people are going to be smarter, and the smart people will figure out how to navigate these systems and succeed. And the people who aren't as smart will probably struggle in that regard. And there's nothing you can do to change it. These people don't understand. They think everyone must be equally as smart as each other. They think everybody's the same height, everybody's the same speed. If we're in the middle of the woods and a grizzly bear or how about a black bear that's charging at us, well, the taller, faster person's not going to get eaten. The world doesn't. We can complain that it's wrong, that it sucks, that the world is this way.
Right.
But they don't want to accept that.
Right, Tim. That's why equality is a Marxist term. They want the equal outcome. That's what the Cambodia communists did. They want everybody even look the same. If you wear glasses, you get killed. If you are too tall, we cut your legs half because we want everybody to look the same. Is that insane? And the people buy into socialism, communism because it sounds utopian, sounds wonderful. But it never came. Mao promised land to the peasants, intellectuals to have free idea, free expressions. Then he never gave the land to peasants. He never gave intellectuals and even the journalists the freedom to practice, to speak up. Lots of journalists in this country are leaning left. They really don't understand history either. Teachers too. They were indoctrinated in colleges, training teachers all about left Marxism because it sounds wonderful. They're compassionate. I understand. But the thing is, when you look at the system, when you look at actually what happened when you went to that kind of system, only 1% ruling all equally poor people. You don't get what you wanted, you desired for, and you were being enslaved because everybody is relying on government instead of your self-responsibility, families, churches, communities. The results just disastrous. It's a lot worse than what the Bernie Sanders would like to believe. Or AOC, I would like to talk to her if she wants to sit down with me. I invited her to sit down with me.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.